All right, thank you so much for your patience. Please, I would like to confirm that you can see my screen on strategy implementation. Please, if you can, kindly type 1 in the chat room. If you can see my screen and you can hear me loud and clear, please kindly type 1 in the chat room. If you can see my screen and then you can hear me loud and clear, please kindly type 1 in the chat room so we can begin. All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Barrister Geb, can you see my screen and can you hear me loudly as well? Barrister Geb, are you still there? Please, if you can see my screen and you can hear me loudly, okay. All right, thank you so much. All right, so I was trying to take us on a notch of what we've done about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, this should be the 4th week now. Yeah, this. So we started with introduction to what strategic management was, and then we looked at strategy formulation, where we looked at different domains of the things that need to be formulated as strategy. We looked at vision, we looked at mission, we looked at goals and objectives, and then we looked at the strategy itself. So today we are going to continue with strategy implementation. And like I was trying to establish, strategic management course is a broad course. Why being broad? It is important that everyone taking a hold on this program or taking this course should pay more attention to application, understanding to apply. So while we will not focus too much on the theoretical aspect, it is good to understand the professional applications or how we can apply these as professionals to our organizations. Okay, this is very, very important. We've been able to establish that strategy without implementation is as good as not having the strategy. Okay, if you have a strategy and you're not implementing it, then there is no need for having the strategy. And you could have a good strategy, but poor implementation could make the strategy not deliver results. So we need to look at the things around implementation that could give the expected results that we are looking at. One of the essence of strategy is to drive productivity, increase performance. So where we are driving productivity and then, where we are driving strategy and then we are not having increased productivity and we're not having increased performance, then there is need to check what we are really doing. Okay, sometimes in our businesses, in our careers, we'll find ourselves doing too much, putting so much energy, putting so much resources, but the result is not coming as we wanted. The return on investment or none of those things are not coming as we wanted. So what we'll do is to check the implementation process. Okay, check the implementation process. And it's important that we get to also have this at the back of our mind. Now that we are on strategic management as professionals, it is good for us to understand that we don't just stumble on strategy. Strategy is something that is created. It is worked on intentionally. Okay, remember when we started this course, I said something. I said, one of the essence of strategic management is to document the process, is to document the procedures, the patterns through which a particular success, a particular goal is being achieved. That's what we call it strategic management. The essence of the documentation is to have a procedural way of achieving that success over and over again. And if there is need for improvement, we'll have already existing pattern and documentation that can serve as an input to brainstorming on that particular procedure, on the particular goal that needs to be established. So in strategic management, understanding the importance of documentation is very, very important. It's key to having effective strategy implementation. All right. So that being said, I'm going to launch into what we have today. In this particular section, the objectives will be to explain what strategy implementation is all about, review the key elements of strategy implementation, then we'll enumerate the challenges in strategy implementation and elucidate the success factors in strategy implementation. So let's move on and see what we have. By introduction, Strategy implementation is the process of executing a choosing strategy effectively throughout an organization. So let's find the key words there. The process, that's the way of executing, implementing, carrying out a chosen strategy. That means the strategy chosen is chosen out of series of other strategies that were analyzed, and then this is found to give us the best result at that time. Not only best result, is also found to be at the best fit, at the best alignment to the goals that we want to achieve through that strategy. Okay, so carrying it out effectively simply means it has to deliver the result for which it is intended for. So where the result is not gotten, that means there is problem or there is a challenge in the implementation of such chosen strategy. Okay, it involves translating high-level strategic goals into specific actions and ensuring that these actions are carried out efficiently. High-level strategic goals starting from your vision, starting from going down to your missions, and then coming down to your broad goals, short-term goals, medium-term goals, and all of that. So it boils down to having to get the right tactics. Okay, I will always give this instance that we all went to the market to buy the same raw material to cook egusi soup does not mean we'll have the same taste, the same feel of egusi soup. What makes the difference here is the implementation strategy, or the implementation of the strategy for production or for the making of the soup. Okay, this is very, very important. So in carrying out the tactics, in carrying out the actions required, it therefore demands that there must be skill, there must be knowledge, there must be skill, and there must be competency. In professional domain, knowledge is not enough. There must be skills enhancement, or there must be adequate skills, enriched skills to deliver to the knowledge that we have. Okay, now knowledge and skills on themselves also are not just enough. We must also have the necessary competencies. Competencies here are describing the behavioral competencies and the technical competencies required to achieve the chosen strategy. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. Now, moving forward, we look at the key elements of strategy implementation. Number one, we have the resource allocation. Number two, we have organizational alignment. Number three, we have operational planning. Number four, we have communication. And then number five, we have leadership and accountability. One of the major elements, if not the number one element of strategy implementation, is resource. The quality of resources involved in a particular strategy could give a different result altogether. Okay, so when you use, for those of us in Ghana, we have what we call akara in Nigeria. We have something we call akara in Nigeria. I don't know what you people call it in Ghana. Bean cake. A bean cake you fry. The bean cake you fry. What do you people have such a thing in Ghana? Mr. Andrews, do you have such a thing in Ghana? Do you have bean cake in Ghana, the fried one? Okay, Mr. Andrew, I trust you are in class. If you're in class, please, you can unmute and let's hear from you. All right, so if you use red oil to fry akara, and if you use granite oil to fry akara, you will be sure that the result will end up as akara, but the quality will be different. The taste, the feeling, everything around them will be different. Even the color will be different. Same product. Okay, Mr. Andrew, do you people have such thing in Ghana? You wanted to say something. Okay, so maybe I will proceed. So the resource allocated to a strategy is very, very important. Also, the kind of personnel, the kind of technology available will also affect all of this. Okay, we affect all of this.
Hello, Dr. Benito.
Yes, please.
Yes, sorry. I traveled out of Ghana, and I think where I am, that has been the problem. But I'm managing to get it to you. So I mean, we can go on, please.
Sorry, I didn't get that, sir.
What I'm saying is that I travel out of Ghana. I'm not in Ghana at the moment, but I'm managing that. I can join you, so I'm on it. Please, we can go on, please.
It's all right. It's all right. Thank you. Okay. So the resources involved in strategy implementation is key. Okay. So if you were to use those of us that remember, okay, let's say cameras, for example. If you have a phone that the camera is 8 megapixel, and the camera, or let's say a camera with 8 megapixel and camera with 16 megapixel, you'll be sure to know that yes, the result at the end of the day, we want to have a picture. Yeah, we'll have a product called picture, but the qualities will not be the same. So the kind of technology, the kind of human capital involved in the implementation of a particular strategy is very, very key. Then you have organizational alignment. The strategy you want to execute, does it align with the structure, with the culture, with the processes within the organization towards achieving the corporate goals and objectives of the organization? If the alignment is not there, then you might find resistance in the implementation of such strategy. Then we have the operational planning. Developing the detailed action plans, timelines, and performance metrics to guide execution of the strategy. Every strategy must have a detailed action plan. And that's why in most cases, we get to have synergy between strategy planning and project planning. Okay, so there must be action plans for the implementation to go on. And then you have the communication, effectively communicating the strategy throughout the organization to ensure everyone understands their roles and responsibilities. Then we have the leadership and accountability, appointing leaders and individuals responsible for driving the implementation and holding them accountable for results. These are the things we want to have in strategy implementation. Now, when these are not properly put in place, strategy can be seen as not delivering results. Now, let me take, for instance, in the public sector, for example, we have a whole lot of beautiful strategies in public sector. But if you check appropriately, you will find that almost everything detailed here might not be all of the problem, but the problem boils down mostly to communication and leadership. And the number one, resource allocation. So resource allocation, of course, is leadership that determines the resource allocation. So if leadership is poor, communication becomes poor, resource allocation becomes poor. And then every other person might know what to do, but since there is no effective leadership, since there is no effective communication, the strategy tends to look like it's not effective. But the strategy on itself, if it were to be well, if all the key elements were to be well implemented or were to be well articulated, it will give a very good result. Okay, it will give a very good result. Now, moving forward, challenges in strategy implementation, resistance to change. I made mention of something. I said if a strategy does not align with organizational strategy goals and objectives, then there will be resistance. Also, if there is no proper structuring in terms of leadership, if there is no proper corporate governance structure, then there will also be resistance. If there is poor resource allocation, you will not want the people to use their sweat or their saliva to carry out a project. So there will also be resistance. So resistance could come when these key elements are not taken care of or are not well managed. Okay, so the resistance, employees and stakeholders may resist changes required by the new strategy. Resource constraints, limited resources can hinder the execution of strategic initiatives. Lack of alignment, misalignment between the strategy and the day-to-day operations can impede implementation, and inadequate leadership, ineffective leadership and poor management, poor communication could lead to strategy execution failures. Okay, these are monitoring and adjusting. When setting goals, we have what we call the SMART goals. Please, I will need you to write this down. I will need you to write this down. When setting goals, when driving strategies, we have what we call the SMART goals or the SMART strategies. But in current time, we have what we call the SMARTer goals or the SMARTer strategies. SMART represents simple and specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Now, the two letters that is being added to the SMART, which is the E and R. E talks about execution, or sorry, perhaps evaluation rather, evaluation. And then the R talks about readjusting, okay, readjusting. So when you have a strategy, there is need for evaluation of such strategies. There is need to monitor those strategies, the performance of those strategies, so that we can check out what need to be improved on. That's talking about readjusting the strategy to achieve the goal. And that's where KPIs become very, very important. KPIs is like setting milestones. Okay, KPIs is like setting milestones. Of course, in contemporary time, we'll talk about agile management. So we also consider that our KPI should be agile. What do we mean by being agile? Agile is making incremental progress in small steps, making incremental progress in small steps, making incremental progress in small steps. So I want to have a course in strategic management, but I cannot finish everything in one day. So we build block by block per time. So that's incremental progress. For every time we come, we have something new to add to what we already know. So we are making incremental progress till we get to the point we can ask we've achieved what we want to achieve. We want to construct or maybe want to develop a software that can train. But we create it incrementally through small iterations. So maybe we'll first of all build the framework where people can come in, log in, access whatsoever there. At some other time, we can say, okay, let's include comment section where people can ask questions and then get answers. Okay, let's include job portals where people can finish their work and then have access to job listed. Okay, let's add opportunity for video conferencing. Yeah. What if we add real-time classes where people can have premiered classes? So these are incremental steps that agile management allows for continuous innovations. Okay, so when we're implementing strategies, we should also learn to be agile in a kind of key performance indicators that we set. So continuous monitoring of progress and performance against established key performance indicators is very, very important. The flexibility to adjust the strategy or implementation plan as needed based on real-time feedback and changing circumstances is also key. Okay, it's also very, very key. All right. Moving on. Success factors in strategy implementation. Success factors in strategy implementation. We have number one, strong leadership. Committed and capable leadership is essential for successful execution. Committed and capable leadership is essential for successful execution. Then number two, effective communication. Open and transparent communication ensures alignment and engagement. Then we have the agile execution. I just mentioned about the agile side of it. The ability to adapt to changing conditions and make timely adjustments. Then we have the engaged workforce involving employees and stakeholders in the process. Increases buy-in and commitment. So all of these contribute to successful implementation of strategies. Now, quickly, let's look at some examples of strategy implementation. We have the example as Apple Incorporated on product diversification and branding. So the strategy was Apple's strategy involved diversifying its product line beyond computers to include products like the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, and services like iTunes and the Apple Store. The implementation, Apple focused on innovation, design, and creating seamless ecosystem across its products. What became the outcome? Apple became one of the world's most valuable companies, known for its iconic products, loyal customer base, and strong brand identity. So this is an example of a strategy implementation. For Apple, it was product diversification and branding. Now, moving forward, we have the Amazon on e-commerce dominance and cloud services. So Amazon's strategy was to dominate e-commerce and expand into cloud computing services through Amazon Web Services. The implementation, Amazon continually invested in logistics, warehouses, and its Prime membership program. The AWS offered scalable cloud services. I think almost more than 35% of cloud services today, reliable cloud services today, is from AWS. Then the outcome is that Amazon is the world's largest online retailer, and AWS is leading cloud services provider, driving significant revenue and profit. Then we have the McDonald's localization and menu innovation. This is one of the things that has kept McDonald's moving. Strategy: McDonald's localized its menu offerings to cater to the regional tastes while maintaining core items like the Big Mac. What do we mean by this? McDonald's, any country they go to, they try to get the people's local appeal, their local dishes within their company or within their services, while still maintaining their big products that make them McDonald's. Okay. The implementation customized menus in different countries, incorporating local ingredients and flavors. And then the outcome is that McDonald's adapted to diverse markets, maintaining its global brand while appealing to local preferences. They have the Tesla electric vehicle revolution. Tesla's strategy focused on accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy through electric vehicles and renewable energy products. The implementation was continuous innovation on electric vehicle technology, including the Model X, Model 3, and energy products like solar panels and Powerwall. The outcome is that Tesla became a leader in the electric vehicle market with a growing global presence and a substantial impact on the automotive industry's shift towards sustainability. Then we have the Procter & Gamble, the brand portfolio streamlining. Strategy, P&G's strategy involves streamlining its brand portfolio by divesting underperforming brands and focusing on core products. They try to divest from underperforming brands and focus on core products. The implementation is they sold or discontinued dozens of brands while investing in product innovation for flagship brands. The outcome is that P&G improved profitability and focused resources on key brands like Tide, Crest, and Pampers, resulting in strong market position. We also have Walmart, the omni-channel retailing. The strategy, Walmart's strategy aimed to integrate online and offline retail through omni-channel initiative. An omni-channel initiative is a channel that gives you the opportunity to use various means of communication. So if you check something like WhatsApp, we will say WhatsApp to some extent is an omni-channel. Why? It allows you to make calls, it allows you to send chats, it allows you to make video appearances. Now WhatsApp is allowing you to sell. Okay, we have the WhatsApp Pay. It allows you to do good customer service through chatbots and all of that. So that could serve as some sort of omni-channel. Okay. The implementation is investment in e-commerce, in-store pickup, and grocery delivery services. The outcome is that Walmart expanded its digital presence, increased online sales, and maintained its position as one of the world's largest retailers, even up to date. In the African context, we have the Dangote Group, Nigeria, where we have diversification and manufacturing. The Dangote Group strategy involved diversifying from a trading company into manufacturing, focusing on industries like sugar, salt, and a recent time refinery. Okay. Implementation, massive investment in manufacturing plants and infrastructure development across Africa. The outcome is Dangote Group became a key player in African manufacturing, with products widely used in construction and food industries, contributing to economic growth and job creation. Then we also have companies like EcoBank, the bank we call the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank is the only bank that is called the Pan-African Bank. Now, they have the Pan-African Banking and Financial Services. The strategy is that EcoBank strategy focuses on building a Pan-African bank network to provide financial services across multiple African countries. Implementation, expansion through acquisitions, partnerships, and innovative banking products tailored to diverse African markets. The outcome is EcoBank became one of Africa's leading banking group with a strong presence in over 30 countries, facilitating cross-border trade and finance services. Then we also have Jumia. There is also a Pan-African company, and theirs is on e-commerce expansion. Jumia, their strategy aimed to become Africa's leading e-commerce platform, offering a wide range of products and services. The implementation is expanding its online marketplace, investing in logistics and delivery infrastructure, and diversifying into areas like food delivery. Not only food delivery now, they've diversified into major things: food delivery, electricity, dispatch of mails. So it's not just their delivery infrastructure, their logistics and delivery infrastructure now covers a wide range of things. Okay, and then Jumia is also going into what do they call it? Careers like HR outsourcing. Okay, and a whole lot of things. Now, the outcome is that Jumia established itself as a prominent e-commerce player in several African countries, providing consumers with convenient online shopping options. All right, in conclusion, but before we go to conclusion, I would like to know if there is any question on strategy implementation. Any question, any contribution? We have looked at what strategy implementation is. We've looked at the key elements of strategy implementation. We've looked at the challenges. We've looked at why monitoring and adjusting is very important. We looked at the success factors for strategy implementation, and then we've looked at the different examples, different companies with different aims and the strategies they adopted and the results they got. Okay. So before we move on, any question before I conclude? Question, please. Comments, questions. Okay, so in your own company, what has been a particular goal that was set, and what strategy was used to achieve that, and what was the outcome? So let me give you an example. In IIPM, the assignment of IPM, the vision of IPM, is to become, or is to be, the most globally preferred management institute. That's our assignment. And as part of our goals, we want to ensure that IPM is visible across Africa. So we want to run as a Pan-African institute first. Now, what did we do? Well, first of all, invested in partnerships across Africa. We invested in digital learning platforms, and we invest heavily in media, social media, and digital marketing. And what has been the outcome? Yes, the outcome, we've been able to establish a database where we have more than 21 countries attending IPM programs at their own pace, different levels. We've also been able to establish partnerships where our our trainees, our members from different countries can easily access our services, access our reps from their countries without having to call Nigeria directly. And also, we've been able to improve, or we've been able to add to national growth through direct foreign investment. Is it what you call it? So forest accruals. So this is what we've done as an institute, and that is what we are still doing. We are still working on them. So can we share from your own organization, what has been a major drive in your organization? What was the strategy? What was the implementation, and what was the outcome, before we summarize? So please feel free, anybody feel free to unmute. We are just 4 in the class, so all of us, sorry, we are just 4. So all of us will have time to give our own view. What particular project has the organization picked? What was the strategy? What was the implementation like? And then what was the outcome? Okay, all the mics are still muted. Please kindly unmute, and then let's share. I still have Mr. Andrews, Barrister Gabriel, and Engineer Shoibu in class.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Oh, mine is not a question, actually.
Okay.
But I want to just share a thought about my lessons or my takeaway so far from these classes, particularly on strategic management in the area of strategy formulation, implementation, and so forth. I just came into a very huge, I'll call it a conglomerate, because my company operates and manages the, 10 power stations under a strategic and integrated policy of government on increasing power generation and also increasing electricity access to Nigerians. I have been here 3 months, and I'm worried about how far this company has been able to leverage on this potential to unleash the capacity it has to lead the power industry in Nigeria. You can have 10 generation companies, and I'm saying this within the confines of this class. I am not to be quoted anywhere.
Yes,
I hope I have guaranteed that.
Yes, you are guaranteed that.
You are. Please go ahead.
Yes. If this what do you call this? If this class is going to be put on the public space, I would require that this particular portion be excised.
Okay.
Yes. The point I'm making is that I am not here for fun. I'm trying to see how much I can expand my capacity to add value to a company I have just joined. And my assessment of this company so far is that it has not acquired, its market share.
Okay.
It has not taken its pride or place, having the largest portfolio of generation companies in Africa, with the capacity also to extend access by way of the transmission and distribution projects it is empowered to undertake. And so as we go on in this class, my mind has been activated. At the end, what value, how can I bring this knowledge to bear on getting management to see a need to rejig its strategic management, process, so that we'll be able to create, a new implementation strategy and lift ourselves from where we are. That's where my mind is working. So I'm paying keen attention to this class.
Okay, sorry. We can't hear you again, sir. Okay, I think your network is obstructed. Okay. Okay, sorry, sir, we can't hear you. Please, is someone still hearing him?
Because at the end of the